proves my very point. On there, it's Sagunto, and it's also Sagunt. You can have either... What? I know it's not on the Costa Blanca. Look, we're heading that way. Or at least we're on the coast now. Costa de Valencia. We're going south. We'll be there before you know it, don't worry. But this place, you've got to see it. Full of history. Romans were here. Hey, big style, but I don't actually see any evidence of it as yet. What? Oh yeah, I'd say using my knowledge, I'd say that's pretty obviously Roman, and a grain store or a barracks. What? It's the doorway into a circus. That's right. Clear as the nose on your face. Absolutely. A circus. Yeah, and it went under there, and most of it's buried under those buildings, and can you imagine what's under this car park? I mean, their place is just littered with it. Obviously, a circus. Brilliant. But nothing compared with what we're going to see. Oh. What did you do on Saturday mornings when you were a kid? Edited encyclopedias. I used to watch the Monkeys and the Banana Splits. Na 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 na. Do you really not remember the Banana Split? The big... Hey, we saw a little bit of Roman Sagunta, or Sagunt, before. The Romans called it Saguntum, by the way. This bit... Wow! 1st century. Now, Sagunta is built on a hill, just like Morea. And just like Morea, it has various different influences on top of that hill. We're going to see them in a bit. But in one bit of the hill, where it was nicely curved already, the Romans built an amphitheatre. Wow! Look at that! The kids are getting into it. That's what it's all about, you see, getting inspired by history. Who knows what it'll lead to in their lives? You may have noticed, what with that big building there and the marble on the seats, that it's been modified a bit. But that's alright, because they're using it as a theatre now, and these kids are getting a buzz out of it. So, it's alright. It doesn't have to be totally original. This place has had so many influences. People moving in, people being thrown out, moved in, thrown out. The Jews were thrown out of here in 1492, the same year that Spain finally threw out the Muslims in Granada. But they gave them a little quarter just over here. There's a Jewish quarter. Nice little houses, all crammed together. But up at the top, 7 different sections to the castle. I can't wait to show it. It's enormous. Let's go. That's it. I'm fully revved up and ready to party. We'll need some sandwiches. Hey? For the party? No, I'm going to do the castle. You mean... Look, if we're going to do the foodie bit, we're doing the castle after, alright? Unbelievable! Fantastic! Enormous! I tell you what. Just for once, why don't you do what we call in the trade a pan, but do a pan right the way round and show everybody this astonishing sight, the castle disappearing over yonder hill, the sun setting over the mountains, the flatlands that were probably once covered by sea, the Mediterranean, and then back again for the other side of the castle. This place is stunning. They think that the name Zagunta comes from the Greeks who settled here. Now those Greeks were from Zakynthos, and whose country's been there, and if memory serves, Zakynthos meant a town on a hill, I think. Well, blow me if this isn't a town on a hill. It's the capital of the local region, and it is in the northernmost part of Valencia. Mountains over that way, Mediterranean that way, flat, fertile land in between, and this huge piece of rock perfectly designed as a defence. They reckon that Bronze Age man was here. In fact, they've found remains, but not on this hill. Now, I reckon if Bronze Age man was here, he'd definitely been on this hill. It's just that it's been covered up over the centuries. When I say centuries, 2,000 years of history in this castle. And I'm going to do it. But first of all, you're going to get me completely in the mood with some lovely photographs and some lovely music and some lovely sunshine. I don't believe this. The sun is nearly setting on this programme. I'm not going to get any more interruptions, am I? Thank you. Right, now I get to do the history of the castle. I told you before, it's 1 kilometre long. That's huge for a castle. And it's in 7 different stages. I'm going to go through them. 5th century BC, the Iberians settled here, and they called this town Ars. And don't be like that. It's just an Iberian name. That's all. They traded with the Greeks. Oh, there's a big drop here. With the Greeks and with the Phoenicians. And it prospered. It did ever so well. And then came the Carthaginians and the Romans. And they were sort of at loggerheads around about here. So this place, although it was aligned to Rome, was independent. Now, Hannibal, in 219 BC, set off on his war against the Roman Empire, and this was the first place that he attacked, smashed it about a bit. He laid siege to this place for 8 months. That means stopping anyone and everyone from either going in or coming out or getting any food. Finally, the brave people who were inside it set fire to themselves. A bit drastic, but it shows you how ruthless Hannibal must have been. That really got up the Roman noses. The Roman nose. And that started the Second Punic War. The Romans came back, got victory, and started building this place up proper. When the Arabs moved in, they turned it into a fantastic place. They put all sorts of luxurious stuff in here. And they weren't kicked out. That was, by the way, in the 8th century. But they weren't kicked out until the 11th century, when El Cid came in. He didn't quite do the job proper, because it was James I who finally finished off the Moors. El Conquistador again, James I of Aragon. Finally, the castle took a bit of a hammering during the Spanish War of Succession. There you go. One of the most remarkable castles we have ever seen. Sativa was an important town and city, perhaps because of its castle. Now, I've always said a castle has to have a good position. They don't get much better than this. Look at that. It's actually two castles in one. That is the major castle up on the other side of the hill, and we are in the minor castle. I'm just going to jump down by your side, so move over the top. It's a bit cramped, but that was the whole idea. The Romans built a fort here because this hill was right next to Via Augusta, their road from Rome to Cartagena. And then the Moors came along and built something slightly more substantial, because they were not only warring with the Christians, they used to war amongst themselves, and this was a perfect defensive position. James I of Aragon, our old friend, the conquistador, he came along and starved out the Moors from this part of the castle, but the Moors in the other part stayed there for 2 years. In fact, I have a quote here. Woo! It says, it's written by Bernat Desclot in 1283. It says, "It is two castles on one mountain. The mountain is so rough that you cannot climb up but through one side only, and at that side 20 men would guard against 10,000. Has many servants, weapons, and enough food to last for 3 years. Blimey. Impressive or what? 1707, the Spanish War of Succession. The Austrians built it up a little bit, and it was an English general who finally handed it over to the Spanish. It then became a prison for political prisoners, princes and princesses who were thrown into the dungeons. Ghost stories. You go and have a look at the castle and the town, and I'll check something else out. And about 4 miles inland, a memorial to the man who dug up one of the island's most important prehistoric sites. 1 minute digging up the past, the next minute past digging up anything. You know, you're right about this island. It's more than just a tourist strip, hire cars and Claudia. It is actually full of fascinating stuff, like these, the square version of the round one we've just seen. A square taliot, which is where the people get their name from, taliots. They gave them that name because they don't really know very much about them. They do know that they came from the east of the Mediterranean, and they settled in various places like Corsica and Menorca, and they built similar constructions. The reason they don't know about them is because they know they couldn't write or read. But they were very successful farmers, and they took over from the race that was already on the island. Hello. Hello. Lovely little dog. And they may even have enslaved the race that was already here. They built up wealth and power, and they had huge livestock resources. They know that because they've found bones absolutely everywhere. And also they virtually worshipped the bulls because they found metal bulls that they reckoned were gods to these people. And maybe Jimi Hendrix was right, because here we are, all along the watchtower. I can see him here, you know, playing his guitar, left-handed, upside down. No, maybe not. Come on, Rover.